from the start of spring to how you guys ended?
Growing. I think it's grown a lot. I think the guys are in a really good spot. I think they're loving being here. I think they're loving being in the room together, loving playing together and competing together. I think the D-line is pushing us to be better than we've ever been to because those dudes are different over there. But man, I'm really excited about where we're trending and where we're going in the O-line.
How's the transition been for you going from now full-time tight end to O-line? How's that transition been for you?
It's been great. It's been really good. O-line is my comfortability, place, and so it was really good to get back in that room and get back to my roots a little bit. The guys have been phenomenal. I helped recruit a bunch of those guys, which helped make the transition a little easier. But it's been really good, man. I love being back in that room with the big guys. There's nothing like it. And loved coaching tight ends. Some awesome kids there too. I got to recruit and coach. Still get to coach them a little bit too, which is fun. We'll grab them, we'll bring them with the tackles from time to time. But overall, man, it's been a great transition.
How did that group perform, maybe from expectation going in to reality at the end of spring?
I think they performed really well. A lot we got to get better at, a lot we got to continue to grow with. But I was really happy with how they competed. We talk a lot in our room about the mentality it takes to play at this level and the mentality it takes to be an elite offensive line. And I'm a very big believer in that. Technique and fundamentals are fantastic. We're going to work the heck out of those. But there's an edge that we need to play with that's going to put us in a whole different category than everybody else. And we're not there yet. It's growing. But the guys are starting to understand what I'm saying. Sometimes if you sit there and over-technique and over-analyze all the little steps and all the stuff, that's great, man. There's been a lot of guys who've gotten their butt kicked doing that too. It's about coming off the ball and being aggressive and physical and finishing blocks. And then let's tweak all the little stuff with it. So they've grown a lot in that regard, which I was really happy about.
Elijah at left tackle, obviously, there's the expectation he comes after last year and being the big guy there. What did you see from him and how he's sort of growing in that role?
Yeah, no, I think his confidence is growing. I think this last year was really big for him. Trying to get Elijah to kind of get out of overanalyzing his own game too much. He's one of those guys I'm talking about, man. Just come off the ball and go whoop that dude. You're a talented guy, man. You're super talented. And so, we've talked several times just about that, man. Just go be a dog. Go get after that guy. We'll fix the other stuff. But because when he comes off the ball, it's NFL looking, big 6'7", 325-pound guy, can move and bend and do all the things he can do. And he's grown a lot in that regard. I'm really happy with him and the progress he made this spring.
With bringing DJ Wingfield over, I think he'd only played on the right side. Was there any thought about right side, left side, how he'd make that flip, and then how did he play this spring?
DJ's one of those guys where if you ask him, hey man, where you want to play? He's like, wherever I'm needed. And that was kind of the thought process, knowing Alani's pretty established on that right side. I said, okay, well, let's put you at left and see how it goes. And, the guy just walked straight in. And from the first day, I was just like, wow, that dude's a really talented, just steady player. And I never really thought about it, to be honest with you, that he hadn't really played left side. And so I think that's a good sign because the guy just came straight in and was immediately one of our better players just right out the gate. And so he's been really fun to watch, man. He just handles his business like a pro. And that's probably the best way to describe him.
In the past couple of years, there's been a lot of mixing and matching in terms of who's playing what.
Yep.
Even until mid-season, how does it feel now to kind of have I know there's going to be still work to be done, but kind of have a 5 or 6 kind of exactly where they are. This is early in the year.
Yeah, no, it's definitely something that, we've been building towards this whole time, and Coach Hanson did a phenomenal job of bringing these guys in and developing them and growing them. I do think it's probably starting to steady out a little bit because you have a little bit more depth across the board that you probably feel a little better about than we have in the past couple of years. There's for sure going to be some mixing and matching that's going to have to be done. We got to find, it's my job to find the best 5 and the best combination of those 5, whatever that is. But yeah, I think it's been a good spring, just kind of let guys just kind of stay where they're at, see where they're at, what needs to change, what needs to grow, and kind of give us a good baseline for what we need to do.
What is it about the two youngsters, the two freshman tackles, Payne and Dunn?
Yeah.
What they're wanting to do?
Payne, Dunn, and Vicona, all three of those guys really are kind of at tackle right now. I think Payne has shown some flashes of some really good things. I think he's got some room to grow, like all freshmen pretty much do. But he's got to continue to get a better grasp of the playbook and all that stuff. But it's really good that he was here in January to kind of learn all this stuff and grow. And there's been some flashes on that tape. You're like, okay, there it is right there, man. That gets you excited. I'd say the same thing for Aaron. I mean, big, athletic, long. He's got some strength in there, got some technique and fundamental things to work on, but the dude loves ball. He's going to be a fun one to work with in the future for sure. Vicona got a bunch of reps this spring as well. Very intriguing human being, like just body, great kid, football junkie, like all the things you want. And so ask great questions. I'll be really excited to see where he goes as well. I'm not sure. For sure, I think he could be a left tackle. I'm not sure what else he could do. He could be right tackle. He could be a guard. It'll be fun to watch him just grow into his body and continue to get stronger and more flexible in all the things that we're working on.
John Ray, do you call him General? Does he have everybody?
I just call him Reed.
The center here has either been a guy who's been at USC for a long time or in the offense. If he's the guy, the first time it's like a new guy coming in. The center's always been an important position for Lincoln. How's he handled that and what have you gotten in it?
Yeah, he's been good. I think the biggest thing with a guy like John Ray is like the guy's played ball for a lot of years in college, in different systems and stuff. And so he was at Syracuse for a couple of years, started for them, had some really good seasons for them. The hardest transition for a lot of transfer guys is usually terminology. He sees the field really well. The guy's got great eyes, and he plays like a vet. He knows movements and twists, and when guys are blitzing, he can call it out. It's just getting our terminology down and being able to translate all that into our terms. And so I know he's working really hard at that. He's worked hard at that this spring. Still a work in progress there, but again, he brings a level of experience that we might not have in other places.
Would you consider Justin the backup left tackle if something were to happen just because we saw that in the bowl game, or is that still ongoing?
Yeah, I think Justin's competing for that starting tackle spot too, man. I mean, that guy's really talented, dude. He's been kind of battling out with Toby at the right tackle spot as well, and we've been growing him at both sides because I think he's a guy that can play both sides. I think that guy could play guard as well. Like, he's a really talented kid, super smart kid, wired right, works hard, cares about it. So I'm excited for Justin, man. He's gonna have a great career here. But he's very much in the battle for that tackle spot, just like those other two guys are.
How do you build edge in a player?
Tough. It's hard. I think it comes down to pushing those guys in drill work when I get the opportunity to. Use the term brother-in-law on each other, not brother-in-law on each other. Making those guys give each other real looks and push each other tremendously hard there. I hold my group to a probably higher standard than is normal. We run as a group. We do up-downs as a group. When people miss things, when there's sacks, when there's illegal procedures. A really good leader should be able to bring those guys along and make them want to do those things. And so that's always my goal every day, is to charge myself with that. Like, all right, I got to get these guys to want to go run sprints after practice because they know it's the right thing, And I think just really not acknowledging when guys are, leaning over and looking soft or sad or whatever. It's like, I need the older guys in the group to bring those guys along. And so I think the older guys have done a really good job. I've got some pretty tough dudes, and I've seen that grow tremendously throughout the spring. But I think just holding those guys to a higher standard every single day. And, it's our job. We're going to go. This team will go as we go. And that's been the case on every good team I've been a part of. And so, I've kind of put that on our guys' shoulders. We're going to be the thermostat of this team. And if we're 6-6, it's because we played 6-6 level ball in this room, and we allowed it to happen on the rest of this team. And so I think we've got a group of guys that are really excited about that challenge and about pushing themselves to be tougher and to callous up a little bit and be those dudes.
I feel like someone from the outside would say, hey, they're really inexperienced at right tackle. Maybe they should start back in the portal. What gave you the confidence to Tobias and Justin to go, hey, we don't need anybody, we don't need to bring them in transfers?
Yeah. I had a left tackle when I was the coach at Tulsa that everybody thought was really young too and inexperienced. He was a first-round draft pick. It doesn't matter how old you are; it matters how you play. I've been watching those guys. I know who they are. I know what their ability level is. I know who we're going to go play against. And I think we got a good set of eyes on those guys. Coach Riley has phenomenal eyes as well when it comes to pretty much every position on our team. And man, that's just one spot I just have not really had any hesitation on putting either of those guys in. Before the bowl game, I grabbed Justin Tanu because I knew Elijah was a little dinged up, and I just told him, I was like, dude, I have zero hesitation on putting you in this game. You can go in and we can win this game if you have to go. And I believe that, and I stand on what I said. And the guy went in there and had a really good game, and so I think it's instilling that confidence in the guys. O-linemen by trait are not super confident people. We've always been the big guys. We've always been the guys that had to kind of be the nice kids and all that because you just hurt people if you didn't. But now we got to get them to flip that switch and try to hurt people on the field, And so I'm a big believer in building confidence within a group and within each person individually. And man, I got all the confidence in the world in those guys. And so I know it's kind of a long-winded answer, but that's where I'm at with it.
If DJ and Alani end up being the guards, who do you feel good about also as guard to have discussion?
Yeah, the intriguing guys, man. Mike and Van Walos has always been intriguing to me. Was involved in his recruitment. Very talented kid. Had a really good tail end of the spring. Makai Sena, another one that has battled through some injuries. Very talented kid. I think Makai is a 5-position player at some point. Like he's that type of dude, and he's working really hard to get back healthy. Hayden Schrader, I think, is another guy that was brought up. That man, like that guy. His high school tape and all that was super exciting. Had some injuries and things, but has shown some flashes this spring as well. That was really exciting. And then, at the end of the day, man, like pretty much all those guys in there battling it out. But Tobias and Justin in their own right could be phenomenal guards as well. So we've got some really good versatility. Again, it's just going to be finding that right blend of people, and the right 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 guys that can really do it and do it well together.
You saw USC's defensive line up close all spring.
Yep.
What did you see from that unit just every day in practice?
Really exciting to watch them, man, and to compete against them. They're going to make us better. We hopefully are going to make them better too. We've had our battles throughout the spring. There's times where we came out on top and times where they came out on top, but man, I like the energy that group plays with. I think we have some phenomenally talented people on that side of the ball. There's some size and some strength that we haven't had here, and some depth that we haven't had here at that position too. And so, man, I'm really excited to see where those guys continue to grow. And I know they're going to make us a better O-line for sure.
What are the physics of blocking someone like Jamal Jarrett at 300 whatever pounds he is as a center?
Leverage, leg drive. At the end of the day, man, like you got to win the mental battle with that guy too, and playing consistent and consistently bringing it on every single play and just trying to win the war at the end of it. But man, that guy doesn't even know how good he could be. That's the exciting thing about him, and he grew a ton this spring too. Early on, we were getting after him a little bit, and then you saw the flip switch, man, and he just started dominating. And so it's fun to go against him, man. He's a talented kid.
With Killian banged up in center, how does that open the door for him to receive more reps during the spring?
Yeah. Jean Reed, Willie Washer, and Kalen Miller. Kalen's a phenomenal player too. Man, we haven't even talked about Kalen. Kalen is a walk-on kid from Calabasas right up the road. His brother King is a phenomenal player as well. love those kids, man. Like, they come in with a smile on their face every single day. Very talented. I had a hand in recruiting them a little bit too with Carrie up there, and man, they've just been great for us. And man, Kaylin grew a ton this spring, being able to get those reps and really call everything with at the center spot, and can play guard as well. Might have the best hip snap of anybody we got up front, man, to be honest with you. He's an explosive, powerful kid, and a little bit shorter, but plays well with it, plays with leverage. So those three guys are the main ones that got most of those reps in the spring, which is really good for them.
Sorry if you were asked this, but how did Ratsumana adjust to being thrown into your O-line room
Yeah.
in the middle of spring?
Yeah, no, that one was a really cool one, man. I think the biggest thing, anytime I've ever made that transition with the D lineman to O-line, my first hesitation with doing it is, are they going to be into it? It's very different. And that was the first question I asked him when I brought him into my office when we were talking about it. And he said, "Coach, football is football. I love football. I'm all in." And that guy has been all in every second since he's been there. Super impressive to have a very minimal O-line background. And, we're putting him in there against John, Jakeem, and Devin Tompkins and all these guys who are established players. And he's able to hold up with those guys, not really knowing the offense either. So he's very intriguing, man. That his athleticism as an offensive lineman is off the charts. He's a 310-pound kid that can run better than probably anybody in my room, and he just fits too. He's a great kid, very smart, very intelligent football player. Picks up stuff really fast, and he's been as impressive as anybody this spring, just making that transition and in his growth.
You were asked about Jared. What have you seen from Jakeem Stewart in terms of trying to block him and what he's flashed?
I don't want to blow Jakeem up too much. No, Jakeem's a very talented guy. I give him a hard time up here pretty much 24 hours a day. Great kid, man. Great personality. He's a tremendous player, man. He's got unbelievable tools. He's going to be a serious weapon for this place for a lot of years.
With that 105 scholarship limit, how many offensive linemen would you ideally like to have?
That's a great question. I mean, I'd like to have as many as I can get. Somewhere in the 20 range would be ideal. And that's kind of about where we're at right now. I mean, every place I've ever been, if you can have 20 O-linemen, you're in great shape. You have 4 deep. A couple guys are going to get dinged here or there. You got to maintain a 3 deep at least to be able to put a scout team out there and stuff during the season. So I'd say probably somewhere in that range.
What is the plan for Irwin? You haven't really heard much about him. Is he a guard?
Yep.
Possibly a center or maybe a tackle, or what are your vision for him?
Yeah, I think he's a guard. Irwin had a little bit of an injury background. Came back, had a good spring. A little bit different background football-wise than a lot of these guys. He's learning and growing a ton every single day. Had some flashes. That guy's a powerful kid, man. Like, he really is. Trying to teach him to play with more balance. Gets a little overextended because he's just trying to crush people all the time, which I love the mentality part of. But we still got to be able to play balanced and stay on our feet. And so he's an intriguing one, man. We'll see how he continues to grow over these next couple years. But great kid, man. Fits in the room really well. Just a really good kid to have around.
You've been involved in offensive line recruiting in previous years. What's it like to have kind of full control of that room, that group now?
It's been great, man. It's been great. It's been a challenge that we're recruiting a lot of kids, but finding the right guys and the right pieces in the puzzle, and really having a really good understanding of what we have here and where these guys fit and where the next guys are going to fit. That's been really fun, but no, man, it's been great. All I do is watch O-line all day long, so it's like the O-line coach's dream. But man, we've been really fortunate too. There's some really good West Coast kids these next couple of classes too, which has been really cool. And guys are excited about being USC Trojans.
Are there things on your checklist where if this guy doesn't have this, I'm not going to recruit him? Like that you need to have for me to recruit you?
Yeah, I think number one, I want guys that want to compete, and that's always the challenge at a place like this, right? I mean, it's my job to bring the best players in the country in here, and not just one of them, but bring 4 or 5 or 6 of them. And so if you're recruiting 3 tackles, I'm supposed to go get the 3 best tackles I can find, right, and get them to come here. And so I think that's something that we kind of build in. I talk about early on in the recruiting process with guys like, hey man, it's my job to out recruit you every single year and bring in better players than you. If you're working and doing all the things you're supposed to be doing, you should be the guy. And so I think that's probably the biggest challenge, or the biggest thing that I look for in guys is like dudes that want to come in here and compete. Obviously, all the physical traits and all the other things have to match up, but that kind of mentality are the guys we're looking for.
Coach, how do you feel like you're doing in your room from a depth perspective?
Yeah, I think we're coming along, man. That's probably the deepest that we've been since we've been here. I talked to somebody earlier just about not having to mix and match and move people around as much and really letting guys kind of play at their positions. So it's a work in progress. We're growing every single day. We're bringing guys along. We've got a whole summer to continue to do that, and then into fall camp. And but I'm not dumb enough to realize that we're probably 120 days away from game day too. So, but I think we have a really good foundation of returning players. We've got a bunch of guys that have been working really hard for the last couple of years to prepare themselves for this moment too. So excited to see those guys continue to grow.
The defensive line has challenged your group, it sounds like.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's that like as a coach when you're going up against the